Hello everyone, I'm Infinite Zanite, and this is my first YouTube video. I don't exactly know what I'm going to be doing, for the entirety of this channel, but I'm hoping to at least, start with, custom LEGO minifigures. Figures that might never be made, or maybe never came out as detailed, or, just something I like, I guess. So, for our first video, we are starting with the series made by Kindly Beast Games and the Meatly Games. They're kind of the same thing. The creators who made Bendy and the Ink Machine, I show you, Showdown Bandit. It's a great game. I can't say I've played it myself yet, but after looking at gameplay videos, it's really great. And so far, episode 1 is already vague, but very interesting. I suggest you, go look at gameplay videos or, play the game yourself. I highly encourage you to play the game for yourself. It does look incredibly fun, and I'm hoping to play the game myself one day. So, let's get this started. Okay, to start off, we start with the puppet himself, Showdown Bandit. Showdown Bandit is the face of this game. As said, created by the Meatly and Kindly Beast. As for his design in the LEGO minifigure form, I decided to make him a new mold for his hat. It's connected to his hair too, as you can tell, and the reason why I decided to not just go with a normal cowboy hat is because I thought that would be kind of cheap looking. I mean, I don't think LEGO would maybe go with that, I'm not entirely sure. I go into a little more detail with my figures, but keep them looking like a LEGO figure, yeah. As for his eyes, while most puppets sometimes in the game have their eyes not so glowing much, there has been times where I've seen a bunch of the puppets in the game, their eyes glowing. So that's why Showdown Bandit's eyes, and possibly more puppets along this video, their eyes will not be so blackened out. As for his pop, his pop cork gun, it's actually an existing figure, but, unlike LEGO would actually do, which, I completely don't mind, the design is completely unique, like multicolored, to show that it's a little more in design. I try to keep sure I got the facial wooden texture looking kind of thing over his body and such, and so far, I think for a first figure of the Showdown Bandit series, I think I did pretty good on this one. I hope you guys like it too. Next on the list, we have Miss Lori Undertaker. Up on the top, you'll just see Miss Undertaker, for short. She is a rather mysterious character, yet friendly to begin with within the game. She's the first character you do see, and the second, is the bandit. You're just going to have to watch gameplay to see what I mean by that. Miss Undertaker is kind of mysterious because, like everything else in the game, it's pretty darn vague and we only know so much right now. So Miss Undertaker is, in this game, supposedly the graveyard Undertaker, as said. The reason why I gave her a shovel is because in the trailer and in the game, it seems to be her weapon of choice. Of course, in the game, she only hits one enemy within the game, but still, I think it's a good choice for her. And, of course, the hat is a familiar mold, but added onto it with dolly-looking hair, just to make it look like Miss Undertaker is not bald, And, of course, like Showdown Bandit, I kept sure that their mouths were like ventriloquist dummies, or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm not very descriptive in my videos. I try to be. I'm a little lost. I'm going this way off script. Okay, back to the point. So, Miss Undertaker, I kept sure to get really good design on her. Try to keep sure she looked a little beaten, scrapped a bit, but of course still in good condition. And of course, she has glowing eyes. So far, this figure looks pretty accurate. Not accurate to the toy merch I saw a couple days ago, because she's green in those toys, and it's not really accurate. I completely the color scheme of these, I go directly off from the actual models themselves, just to keep sure I get the colors right. So that's Miss Undertaker. Next, we have the Banker. His role in the game is, he's pretty much, you go to him to save your game. Because the game is definitely free roam. You're not staying in one place. Banker's personality is more of a nervous, but willing to do something. If it means, staying alive, I guess. From my perspective, he just seems really nervous in the game. For his design, he was a little roughed up, and I had to keep sure to match certain color schemes to keep sure that certain things weren't too dark, but of course match the color scheme of the actual character itself. As for the eyes, that was a little weird, because this Banker has what looks like 4 eyes, and while I don't entirely understand that, I decided to not go with the Lego's traditional regular eyes and decided to just, go with 4 actual eyes that looked like it was like, if it was Banker himself, The reason why he's holding a, TNT in his hand is because in one of the posters in the game, he seems to be holding, sticks of dynamite. And, while that hasn't been a weapon of choice in the game, it's on a poster, and I thought it would be a nice inclusion. So far, I think it's really good in design. I don't think I really went out on this figure. Banker isn't my most favorite character. If I think my favorite character in the game is, Showdown Bandit himself. You play as a guy, you gotta love him. Banker is, he had an explicit roughness to his design, good amount of scratches, scratched wood and paint. And I just want to keep sure I get all those details down. Still though, that's Banker.
You must take care to guard your strings. I can mend them, of course.
Here we have Doc Carver, the point in the game that's in multiple spots to where if you're damaged or hurt, you can heal from his point. Reason why he's called Doc, as in doctor. He's not my favorite character, but I love his voice. I don't know why, I just like it. Must be the deepness or the sudden, intimidating feel of it. I don't know. Doc Carver's design was a little explicit. For his hair design, I decided to go with the hair design from the Lego Batman movie Robin, except remove the glasses. I'm not sure if it was the right hair choice, but I think it still, served its purpose, to say the least. As for the glasses, that's completely printed on. If it were actual Lego form, I'm pretty sure it would allow some sort of shine to it, I guess. Because it's spectacles, glasses, As for a thing in his hand, he does not have anything in his hand because, in the game, he doesn't really have anything in his hand, other than maybe scissors or something like that, but I added that in the little pouch part of the printing on his legs. And as for the mustache, I think I really did good. The mustache was a little hard to draw because, it's a little curly, and of course, my drawing isn't that precise at times. But still, in my opinion, I think I did really good. And I think it really looks like Doc Carver. Next on our list, we actually get to one of the enemies of the game. Of course, these guys come in numbers. Or sometimes just lurk around the game with only 2 or 1 in a room. Now, these guys are known as the Stringless. They're unlike any enemies like the Arachnids or, other enemies. These guys are just pretty much the basic enemies, like a Goomba from Mario or something. Now, when it comes to the Stringless, the reason why they're called that is because they have no strings. In the game, mostly every good character is attached to strings from above, which who knows what's up there. But the Stringless don't have any strings, and I'm guessing that's what results them to being hostile. They are no longer controlled by whoever is pulling the strings. As for design-wise, I decided to go really wooden on this one just to keep sure it didn't look so dull of a figure. Because the Stringless here is not really specific in design. It's like a great design, but it is not very specific. It is very basic, as if it's like, new or something like that. So I tried to add as much detail as I could as possible. I made the eyes look a little bigger just to fit that whole stringless, creepy puppet feel. And, yeah, I mean, that's it for this character. There's not really much to it other than this simple design. Of course, I could have gone with more enemies, like, here's the thing. Characters you won't see in this is, characters such as arachnids, or, cutters, or greaves, or such. The reason why I didn't add those is because, I didn't want to do every figure for this. I only wanted to get to the basic importance of these characters. And I, of course, wanted to add one of the basic enemies. So here we have it, the Stringless. Next, we have the very mysterious and kind of creepy kind of character known as Penny Hemsworth. In a poster in the game, she has her eyes, her puppet eyes. In the gameplay itself, she seems to have removed them. Of course, for a puppet, this isn't very gruesome at all, and I guess to her, it's her reasoning for taking out her puppet eyes is to not look up, seeing as though looking up is bad for these puppets. And along with that, the character herself in the game has no strings. So it is undeciding if she is very hostile or just creepy in general. It's undetermined if she's friendly or not. But at this current moment, she has no strings. And as for design-wise, the Lego figure was very hard to make. I feel like I had to combine another piece with a few other pieces to make its own mold. For example, the hood or bonnet on her is from the Lloyd Garmadon figure from Lego Ninjago movie sets. Of course, I had to mix that with some doll-looking hair to make it, because, turns out, a Lego bonnet figure, piece does not exist. So I had to improvise. And I felt like, this headpiece still served justice, to say the least. As for the legs, I went with the classic Lego princess piece. Of course, it's just a normal Lego brick, and not really a piece from minifigures. But, I feel like it did good, because if I went with, a tutu piece for, from a ballet dancer, it wouldn't really do good because, for Penny Hemsworth, her, dress goes all the way down, and is not like a tutu kind of design. As for the eyes, that was a little hard to figure out. Of course, I, didn't want to make a simple Lego darkened classic eye kind of thing for a minifigure, because for Penny Hemsworth, she doesn't have eyes. And I wanted to make it look like it had that appeal to it. Of course, I'm not sure if it's a little iffy with me, but I hope it still looks good and is accurate to the character herself. If I could correct anything about this figure, I guess it would be the eyes, but that would be depending on how I would change it. It honestly depends. Next, we have one of the major bad guys within the game, and, of course, a huge enemy, the Faceless Bandit. The Faceless Bandit, is very specific in design, because in the game, he's very damaged. And, of course, he can be unharmed in the game. No matter what you do, the guy cannot get hurt. You can't defeat him. All you can do is try to move away from him. I mean, as of right now, his origins are very unknown, but his mold seems to be of the Showdown Bandit himself, but very withered away. Of course, having the signature weapon of a very pulled-together scythe. And of course, for these puppets with strings, fragile strings, it's very dangerous. The Faceless Bandit, I decided to give him some sort of cape-like cloak around him, because in the game he has that cloak, and I just didn't want to cheap it out and make it, printing on his torso. in his, Lego figure itself. And so far, I think it looks really good. The scythe is basic and not as thoroughly designed. Either way, I think it still does good for it. And the hat, it was a simpler design from the Showdown Bandit figure I made. It's same for the head, except I redrew certain things to make it look more withered. Because again, this character is very broken down, though apparently still functioning. In the game, of course, this character has no strings. So of course, as said, it's a hostile character. And, well, honestly, I really like this character. I honestly really enjoyed making this character. While the Faceless Bandit is not my most favorite character, it's considered a favorite enemy. A frustrating one at that, considering that this thing has no introduction, and it's just showing up out of nowhere in the game. Now, of course, when it comes to the marks on its torso and face, I try to be very careful with the streak marks on its face, like the scratch marks. Because, I didn't want to make it look unrealistic, to say the least, or bad. Of course, I think I did really good. So far, this seems to be the only main bad guy within the game. But, we'll just see about the next figure. And our last character on the list is, the very mysterious and still currently barely much anything known about this character, the Audience. Of course, that's not its confirmed name, just the name from, well, the Wikipedia of Showdown Bandit. This character comes in numbers. It is undetermined if it's an enemy or a good character or anything at all for that matter. This character, spoiler warning, okay, spoiler warning, okay? This is okay, you've been warned. This character is at the ending of the game, to where you see many of them staring at you from the audience. And that's why they're called Audience, because there's multiple of them just staring at you, of course, enjoying the show of Showdown Bandit. Because from the game, it seems that they're watching you the entire time you play it. And the reason I decided to make this figure was because, well, I honestly, it was very mysterious. I kind of wanted to, make the figure either way. As of now, there's theories going around that this audience is a group of kids or teens or something like that. I decided to make a full, adult-looking figure because that is still undetermined. And from shape or size, it does seem, well, to me it seems adult-like, but still undetermined. As for the face, I tried to add, a few wooden mask bits to the mask. And of course, I think it looks good. The hood is not the classic Darth Sidious / Ghost Spider hood. It's the new hood piece from the newer Star Wars sets for Ben Kenobi. I decided to use that hood piece because since it's new and it really seems to fit a few new hooded characters lately. And well, as for the Audience character, still, less is really known about this character, but I still wanted to do it because the character still seems important to the series itself. Who knows what's in Showdown Bandit right now, but I'm actually excited for how this game's going to be going so far. It seems to be going a different direction than how Bendy and the Ink Machine went, but of course still keeping that old-timey show thing to it. Like how Bendy was based off cartoons, and, well, I'm just getting a Woody's Roundup from Toy Story 2 vibe from this game, which still is kind of old-timey, and I enjoy that. And, still, this is the Audience. Of course, I added the Princess Brick piece, the one for Penny Hemsworth. The reason why I did that is because, well, the character is cloaked. You can't see any legs, and of course you can't see any arms, but that still didn't stop me from making arms either way because, well, that would just look weird, I guess. I don't know. So I feel like the whole dress piece to it was still good for the character. Of course, this character looks pretty accurate, in my opinion. If I could change anything, I guess it would be like maybe changing my art style in the future to make it more accurate or shading better, but so far it looks like how it would be if it were Lego, I guess. Unless Lego decided to make it look more kid-friendly, but it really depends. I mean, Lego would never get the license for Showdown Bandit, or Bandy for that matter. I think that's McFarlane's job. Yeah, and that's the audience. Well, everyone, that's my first video. If you liked it, please subscribe and comment below on what series you want to see next. I can't guarantee I'll do any, or, most. I'll see what's most interesting. It really depends. And please, subscribe, leave a like, and I hope you all have a nice day.